love that music. Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. We're at NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, talking about innovation, talking about leaders in the city of Newark and the state and the nation. We're joined by Aisha Glover, who is the president and chief executive officer at Newark Community Economic Development Corporation. How you doing?
Fantastic.
You just told me before we got on the air, see, you think you tell me things and I won't say it. You're originally from Brooklyn.
I am.
But you've fallen in love with the city of Newark.
I have.
Because?
Because I'm a sucker. No.
Come on.
How can you not? How can you not?
Tell folks who don't get it.
I don't understand folks that don't get it. I do think that maybe they just haven't come to Newark in a little while, or they're listening to other voices. But it's just overwhelming. It's fantastic. I experienced the boom in Brooklyn, so I know what that looks like and that feels like. And so, you know, about a year and a half ago, I said I have to be in Newark. It's really not just the next IT city, but it's where we need to be right now, particularly during this moment of growth. So
describe your organization.
So the Newark Community Economic Development Corporation is a 501c3, separate nonprofit, works kind of hand in glove with the city to carry out the mayor's economic development vision. So we do everything from real estate development and planning to business development and entrepreneurship. So, you know, we're working with the small local mom and pop shops all the way up to the larger corporations and educational institutions such as NJIT.
From an economic development perspective, what's hot in the city right now?
Oh, goodness, everything. So real estate is booming. I think across the country, you know, industrial real estate is the hottest market than it's ever been. So we're certainly seeing a lot of demand, a lot of inquiries. Since I've been here, I've toured a handful of folks actually from the Brooklyn Navy Yard, but we get
You brought them over?
No, I have not yet brought them over, but those requests, those inquiries are coming in. We see a lot of companies relocating, being squeezed out of New York City. So I think really the hottest thing right now in Newark is the real estate. And then on kind of boots on the ground, there's an entrepreneurial ecosystem that's just buzzing.
What does that mean?
It means that Newark is ripe with that entrepreneurial spirit, that grit. Everyone that I know that doesn't work full time on their own, they're kind of 9 to 5, is an entrepreneur, and some folks are doing both. So the mayor has really done a phenomenal job. Mayor Ras Baraka. He's part of the reason that I'm here, just being able to work under a leader and a visionary like that, that recognizes the talent in the city and wants to grow that. From an arts and culture perspective, from a tech and innovation perspective, it's all right here. And so you see it with the growing number of incubators and accelerators and co-working spaces around the city, that the demand is there. So it's really an exciting time to be here.
Let me ask you, there's a program that we were talking about again before we got on the air, Moms Who Hustle. What is it? Why does it matter? How is it connected to what you're doing?
Moms Who Hustle is a phenomenal program. I met the founder of a organization called Walker's Legacy. Walker's Legacy, named after Madam C.J. Walker, who obviously was the first woman millionaire in the country. And so the organization was really founded around that principle, that legacy of entrepreneurism. And so they created this program, Moms Who Hustle. It exists in D.C., in Detroit, and Baltimore. I met the founder, Natalie Cofield, and said, this has got to come to Newark.
What do they do?
They do financial literacy, financial empowerment programs to really help women across the range. So not just, I want to start my own business, but really the fundamentals, the basics of what it means to manage your household budget, and you know, some of the basic skills that are needed that are transferable from your personal life to your professional life.
Sorry for interrupting. Aisha, that, dare I call it, demographic, why are they so important to the future success of a city like Newark?
Absolutely. So, you know, across the country, but especially in Newark, we have many women, many single-family households that are headed by women. And compared to households that are solely headed by single fathers, women are twice as likely to be in poverty, those families. And
twice as likely.
So across the country, you know, we have about 10 million families that are living in poverty. So if we're talking about really catering to single moms and addressing that, really what we're trying to do is get to the root causes, right? And so how are we empowering moms, single moms, young single moms, so really, really kind of zeroing in on the demographic is is really important for Newark. Over almost 70% of our households are led by single-family homes.
So a lot of moms that are single moms, trying to keep it together, trying
Absolutely.
to juggle it all.
Yep.
But we're also talking about them being gainfully, not just employed, but tapping into an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Ridiculously. This question is I'm tempted not to ask, but I'll ask anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Does this have anything to do with I can have it all? Meaning, because you are talking about all the different pieces.
Right.
Is it possible?
Of course it is. My mother did.
She did?
She did.
What'd that
she
teach
did.
you?
It taught me grit. It taught me a lot of lessons.
Use that word a lot, grit.
You have to, right? There's a spirit of perseverance that's necessary when you're a woman, when you're a person of color, when you're underemployed or unemployed, when you're an entrepreneur. You have to have that grit, and sometimes you just naturally develop it because you see other examples, because you're raised under it, because you learn the hard way. So it's not about having it all. It's just about knowing what to do when you have some of it, right? And making do.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Finally, this is part of a larger initiative in Newark. Is it because there's a Hire Newark, there's Buy Newark, right? And make that connection for us.
Sure. The mayor has a Hire, Buy, Live initiative, and he's really done a phenomenal job of tapping into all the corporations and anchors around the city to say, how can we help drive more folks hiring locally? How do we ensure that all these anchor institutions and corporations are buying and procuring locally,
That's right.
And tapping into that entrepreneurial ecosystem? And so that's where this falls under. How do we make sure that the businesses that are already here and thriving are able to vend to corporations and anchors? And then the smaller guys, the entrepreneurs that are just getting their business up and running, how do we make sure that they're doing it correctly, and that they can reach that point themselves where they're then vending to the anchors?
We actually had Mayor Baraka with Barry Ostrowski, the leader at RWJ Barnabas Health, talking about that initiative and how they're collaborating together. Aisha, you're doing important work.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. Aisha Glover is the President and Chief Executive Officer of an organization called the Newark Community Economic Development Corporation. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
We'll be right back talking with more people who have grit.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, the New Jersey Education Association, RWJ Barnabas Health, the Northward Center, the law firm of Gibbons PC, TD Bank, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.